Hi, I'm Gabriel, and this is Learning English Path. And in this lesson, I'm going to teach you about prosody, the music of language. There's an old Zen proverb: before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Now, most people interpret that proverb to mean that after you achieve enlightenment, nothing in your life necessarily will change. But I want to propose an alternative interpretation which you may only glean through the use of prosody. Okay? Now, I don't know for certain that I'm right in my interpretation of this proverb, but I want to propose it as an alternative. So let me say this proverb again. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. You see the difference? This interpretation, now that you can understand better through the use of how I say the same words, shows that enlightenment doesn't change what happens on the outside, in the external world, but it does change how you perceive what happens in the external world. And I can only really make that clear to you through prosody. I mean, I could change the words, right? But through prosody, you get a new sense of meaning, right? It's unique. So what is this prosody? Well, I'll explain, but before I explain and tell you how you can use prosody, please make sure, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and if you want to learn English with 101 songs, make sure you get my free PDF, which I linked to in the description. I'll email it to you. You learn English through 101 songs, okay? And I give you lots of activities there on how you can do that. All right, so what is this prosody? Speaking of songs, prosody comes from the Greek word for song, okay? So, this is the music of the language that we speak and listen to, right? So, when we hear great speakers give speeches, we don't think that it's just a great speech because of the words, right? We love a great speech also based on how they say what they say. So if you want people to listen to you, prosody is very important. So let's just have a quick look at some great speeches through history. And then this may show you what I mean by, I want you to listen to how they say what they say and how that impacts it. All right? Here we go.
Be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My poor little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted.
I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. At least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
All right, so clips from 3 speeches there, right? So the first one, you may know, was Martin Luther King Jr., right? And it was his I Have a Dream speech. Now, what if he had just said, I have a dream today? No one would remember this speech, right? He wouldn't have emotionally connected with his audience. See, a great speech and a great speaker connects emotionally with the audience, right? And that's what Martin Luther King Jr. was incredible at doing. He was a great orator. Okay? And what about the second one? Was JFK, John F. Kennedy, right? What if he had said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country? If he spoke like that, he wouldn't have been the American president, right? So he needed to say it in a way that people would remember, and people remember through the music of language, right? How it's said. And then the last one was from a movie called Braveheart, and that was a portrayal of William Wallace, right? Now, my name is Gabriel Wallace, so, you know, my family used to tell me that I am from the same lineage, right? The same, that he's an ancestor of mine. Maybe he is. So he said, you know, I won't even try to say it right now as powerfully as Mel Gibson did it in that movie. But what if he had just said, they may take our lives, but they may never take our freedom? Do you think anyone would have followed him? No, right? So they need to, if you want to give a great speech, if you want to be a great English speaker, you need to develop prosody, So what are the aspects of prosody? How can you develop this for yourself? How can you give power to your speech, right? How can you make someone feel what you are saying on a deeper physical, energetic level, right? Something that is more powerful than words alone. Well, I'll give you an acronym to remember this by. Not an acronym, a mnemonic. A mnemonic to remember this by. SPIT, okay? SPIT, SPIT. And this stands for stress, pausing, intonation, and tempo. All right? So let's go through each of these one by one. All right? And if you know these, if you know how to develop these parts of your speech, then you, my friend, will be developing your own prosody. So the first one, stress. Now, stress is when one word in the sentence is emphasized, right? Stands out. Or when one syllable in a word is emphasized, okay? So you might just listen to a word, for example, banana, right? There are 3 syllables in the word banana, right? If you want, you can go check out my video on syllables, which I recently released as well. I'll put a link in the description. So banana, which syllable is stressed? 3 syllables. Ba-na-na, right? Which one is stressed? The second one. Banana. Banana, right? So this is a syllable stress. And you can stress words and syllables to the effect of having your listeners really listen to that emphasized piece in your speech, right? For example, let's take a sentence. If you want to improve your life, study English. Right? Now, I didn't use very much prosody in that one. So, how can I use stress here? Well, there are four aspects to stress. Okay? And they are pitch, duration, volume, and timbre. All right? Pitch, duration, volume, and timbre. So let's look at each one of these kinds of stress. The first one, pitch. This is how high or low. Okay? Pitch is high or low. So you can emphasize one part of the sentence by making one part either higher or lower than the others. All right? So musicians would be very good at this. I'm not much of a singer, but let's give it a try. If you want to improve your life, study English. All right? That's my attempt at pitch stress, okay? Or if you want to improve your life, study English. All right? This is pitch. All right. The next one is duration. I'm a little bit better at that. So duration is how long something is. So how long you spend on saying a word. So listen to this one. If you want to improve your life, study English. Now there, what did I stress? I stressed the word improve through duration, right? Well, what about if you want to improve your life, study English? Okay, there, the duration was on English. All right, so this is duration. You can spread it out. The next one, volume. Now this is obvious, right? It's how loud or quiet. Loudness and quietness. All right, so let's take the same sentence. If you want to improve your life, study English. Very easy, right? Or you could emphasize it by going quieter. If you want to improve your life, study English. See, a whisper can sometimes have power. Now, remember here that I'm trying to focus on just one aspect of prosody here, but it's very tempting for me to use various other aspects of prosody at the same time, because usually you won't just use one technique, but you'll pick from others as well. So I'll get into that. And the last part for stress, though, is timbre. This is really the quality of sound. Okay, so listen to this. If you want to improve your life, study English. Again, improve, right? Or if you want to improve your life, study English. Okay, so it's kind of, this is a tricky one, again, to do isolated from the other parts of prosody. But if you can make one part of your sentence noticeably clearer, right? So it's got more clarity in sound or quality in accent, perhaps, then this is another way to stress a word. All right, so that is stress, the 4 parts of stress: pitch, duration, volume, and timbre. And remember, to get the best results of stress, you want to use more than just one aspect of it at a time. That's why it's a little bit tricky for me to just focus on pitch, right? So I might say, if you want to improve your life, study English, right? So that's using pitch and volume and also duration at the same time, right? But now let's look at the other parts of stress. So we've got pausing, or pausing and chunking, really. And this is about the space you leave between the words or between the sentences, okay? It gives the listener time to really reflect or absorb what you have just said, so that it's very clear to them what you just said before you move on to the next point. It gives them time to unconsciously reflect on that, right? Example. And a pause for emphasis is called a caesura. Caesura, okay? Now let's use the same sentence as an example. If you want to improve your life, study English. Okay, so that was using a caesura to pause there for emphasis, okay? You could also pause in a different part of the sentence. Even though there's a comma there, you could pause with just before the word English. So if you want to improve your life, study English. Right? So this is also part of prosody. It's when you take the time to pause and then you leave your listener waiting for your next word, and then, okay. Now, another great technique is, and Martin Luther King Jr. used this a lot, is to go from the end of one sentence quickly to the beginning of another sentence. Because then it doesn't give, it's too many people stop after each sentence, okay? And it's kind of a robotic rhythm that you don't necessarily want to have all of the time. Sometimes you want to pause during the middle of a sentence and go straight from one sentence and flow into the next, all right? Let me give you a quick example, although I have been doing it already, if you have noticed. So, if you want to improve your life, study English. And you can study English with me, right? So here, you're not giving the listener time, a moment really between the sentences to turn off, because some people will turn off after the sentence is finished if you give them time. But if you don't give them time, then you can draw the listener in, right? Okay, the next one. Intonation. Okay, so this is about a rising tone, a falling tone, or a flat tone, right? You don't really want to have a flat tone most of the time. A flat tone is if you said, if you want to improve your life, study English. Okay, that's flat. A rising tone would be, if you want to improve your life, study English. Okay, it's rising, right? If you want to improve your life, study English. And a falling tone would be, if you at the end, falling at the end, if you want to improve your life, study English, right? Study English. Now, you can get different meanings from the way people say these things, right? So, it could indicate sarcasm, irony, excitement, or a command, right? A command is if you want to improve your life, study English, right? So the falling tone could indicate a command, study English, like do it, right? But an excited tone might be, if you want to improve your life, study English. That's a rising tone, and it's excitement, right? Finally, tempo is the speed, okay? That's how quickly you say something. And, you may want to speak quickly to indicate fast thinking, or you may want to speak slowly to encourage the listener to consider things in a different way, right? So, again, a lot of great orators will use this. So, for example, you could say, if you want to improve your life, study English, right? Again, I'm using other parts of prosody there as well. But if you want to, it's difficult to isolate just single bits of prosody, right? Especially when you've been using it for so long. So then if you want to say it in a slow way, you might say, if you want to improve your life, study English. Okay, now this has a different effect. And, it's not that one is better than the other. There are different situations where one will be better than the other. And you need to practice that based on the context of the situation and your speech and your listener also, okay? So, I hope this makes sense, and I hope that you can start using this to practice your English speaking, okay? Prosody. Because learning English is not just about the words. but it's about how you communicate using those words, right? All right. Keep learning, my friend, and keep going.